Welcome into another edition of the Edward Jones Chatting Cage. Tim McMaster here. We are joined today by Cubs starting pitcher Jake Arrieta. You know how this works. If you want to get in line, ask a question of Jake, you can press that red button at the bottom of your screen. Also, get on Twitter, use the hashtag Chatting Cage, and we'll get your questions across to Jake. And Jake, first of all, thanks a lot for joining us, man. I know you guys are in a big series out there in St. Louis right now.
That's right, man. It's good to take a few minutes and, answer some questions. It's always fun. We had a good time last year.
All right, Jake, let's start on Twitter. And Jessica wants to know, what do you like about pitching at Wrigley?
There's a lot to like about pitching at Wrigley. For me, the biggest thing that stands out is probably the close proximity to the fans. You really get to feel like they're in the battle and the heat of the moment with you, and it's something that you don't get at a lot of parks anymore. I think Fenway is one of the only other parks where you get that old time feel, and I obviously the ivy and the old school bleachers, and now it's going to be updated, but. I just think the intimate feel Wrigley has is probably the most exciting aspect for me personally.
Yeah, and lots of renovations obviously going on out there at Wrigley. It's only going to get better, I think, for the fans. And speaking of the fans, time to bring a fan into the Edward Jones Chatting Cage right now. Fan, if you can just tell us your name, where you're from, and go ahead and ask your question for Jake Arrieta.
Hi, I'm John. I'm from Georgia, and I was wondering, what is the impact of a lot of the veterans on the club like? You have David Ross and you have John Foster as just a few.
I think the veteran presence on any team is one that's vitally important for a lot of reasons. First and foremost, it's it's kind of their job to kind of relay the message of the team overall and how to deal with the transition to the big league level, how to go about your business each and every day, how important a routine is, and basically, I think what they do a good job of doing is explaining to them of how to not get too high or too low, after a win or a loss, how to stay even keel, and just kind of put things behind you, regardless of if they're positive or negative. How to move forward to the next day is something that David Ross does a really good job of, and he brings such high energy to the ballpark every day, and that's something that young guys could feed off of.
It's really an amazing mix that the Cubs have right now. You have those veteran guys that you mentioned, and then so many young players keep coming up. All right, we have another fan ready to go, Jake. Fan, if you can just tell us your name, where you're from, and go ahead with your question for Jake.
My name is Chris from New Jersey, and my question is, what is it like to play on such a young team with a bright future?
I think it's exciting to play with such young players, with such quality skill sets, like Addison Russell, Chris Bryant. Javi Baez is also one of the guys who's going to be a big part of our future. These guys are extremely young and very talented, and we have the opportunity as some of the older guys to help make their transition easy for them, because they're all extremely talented, and it's a matter of trying to get them as comfortable as possible, as quick as possible. So I think most of them, if not all, have handled the adjustment extremely well. And I just look forward to watching them continue to play and grow each and every day.
Yeah, it's an exciting group for sure. And as that fan said, the future is obviously bright for the Chicago Cubs. But as we go back to Twitter, Jake, Cubbies Central wants to know, how good can the Cubs be this season?
Well, I think it's up to us, to determine our fate throughout the season. I think that, thus far, throughout the early season, we've had some games that we kind of let slip away, but those are opportunities for us to learn and to make the adjustment as we move forward, and playing against playoff contending teams. like the Pirates, like the Cardinals, as we are now. It's only going to increase our ability to win those close games down the stretch. And you look at Rizzo and in his maturity over the past year or two. It's been exceptional to watch his growth and his transition into a leadership role, along with some other guys, and having guys like that can really relay the messages of what it takes to to perform at a high level each and every day. It's important for us to have those kind of guys. So I think going through those learning processes early in the season are only going to benefit us as we continue to move through the season.
Excellent. All right, Jake, let's stay on Twitter. And Ivy Loves Cubs wants to know, what would you be doing if you weren't playing baseball?
Man, that's a great question, and that's something I think about a lot. I would probably be involved in the health and wellness or strength and conditioning side of business. I'd really like to open and run my own elite training facility. I started getting into Pilates about 1.5 years ago, and I've got an extremely gifted trainer who is looking to take her profession to the next level. So her and I might continue to work together on the business side of potentially trying to open a Pilates studio. And I'm personally trying to get a lot of the players into the Pilates side of training because I've had a firsthand experience of how much Pilates can benefit my game.
Yeah, we see more and more. It's not just the lifting of weights. It's all the other things players can do to kind of keep themselves in shape. This is the Edward Jones Chatting Cage, and it's time to welcome in another fan. If you can just say your name, tell us where you're from, and ask your question for Jake.
I'm Al Hernandez. I'm from Missouri right now. And my question is, what's the funniest thing a player or a coach has said to you during a game on the mound?
Man, that's a good question. There's been a lot of different personalities from the catching side of things. Some really good personalities as infielders, and now with Joe, a very big personality in himself. I think, the one thing that stands out to me is when Montero comes out and kind of gets after me pretty good, yells at me a little bit, kind of shoots you straight. And those are things that aren't necessarily funny at the time, but looking back on it, it's something that I really appreciate. And I think that although it is a very serious tone to the message, it's something that we kind of get a good laugh at after the fact.
I think when fans think of those discussions on the mound, the movie Bull Durham always comes up, and they think about discussing wedding gifts for teammates and that kind of thing. You mentioned Miguel Montero, and that's a perfect tie-in to our EDJ question of the day, Jake. And that question is, can you tell us about the We Are Good hashtag that Miguel Montero has started? And you're wearing the shirt.
Yeah, it's a great shirt. Miggy is just, he's got his Latin flair, and I think his Twitter kind of translates a little different than an American guy, mine, for instance, might. But I think that's what makes it so funny. He speaks his mind. Some things come out with a slight broken translation, but it's a simple hashtag, but it's something that we really enjoy, and I think a lot of the fans of Chicago and around baseball like it as well. So we're rolling with it, and he's kind of been a trendsetter with the Twitter hashtag, and it's something we're all on board with.
Yeah, it's really blown up on Twitter, that's for sure. We Are Good is that hashtag if you want to check it out. We have another fan ready to go here. If you can just tell us your name, where you're from, and ask your question for Jake.
What would it mean to you to be a part of a Cubs World Series team this year since the Cubs haven't won in over 100 years?
Well, first and foremost, I think, for the city of Chicago, a city who's been, starved for a championship for such a long time. on the north side. And Joe, our manager, has alluded to the fact that it's a tremendous opportunity to be a part of something like this. A group of guys who have the opportunity to, reverse the curse, so to speak. And, it would mean a lot. It would mean a lot for the group of guys we have, for our entire organization, and obviously for all the fans in Chicago and across the country who support the Cubs. So it would mean a lot. All the hard work, throughout spring training and throughout the year, all the grinding, all the come from behind wins, will have seemed to really pay off. And I think that it would just mean so much to so many people, and we're all looking forward to the opportunity to be a part of that.
It seems like things are certainly headed in that direction on the north side of Chicago. All right, we are out of time, Jake. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Yeah, man. Enjoyed it. Thank you.
All right, that's going to do it for another edition of the Edward Jones Chatting Cage. Join us again next time.